What's up, all my Ewoks, Tribbles, Droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl, and today I am going to be talking about the Star Wars High Republic characters. Now, if you've missed my video from yesterday, I would highly recommend checking that out first before watching this video, just because I cover more of the About section from the article, which all of this was announced in on the StarWars.com website. If you didn't get my notification for that video, I'm not surprised, because YouTube has decided to shadow ban or ghost my channel, which means if you're wondering why you don't get notifications for my channel, that is why. So leaving a like, leaving a comment, sharing on social media will really help me and my channel out. So without that further ado, let's go take a look at these new Jedi that they have introduced. Alright everyone, so I have these Jedi pulled up, so let's take a look. This is the very first one. This is the one that actually everyone on the internet is kind of losing their minds about, because this Jedi in particular resembles a certain someone that ever since they infiltrated Marvel has been attempting to campaign to be in Star Wars, showing up to Disneyland dressed up in a Star Wars, Jedi costume, rubbing in everyone's faces. Oh my god, I did like 3 movies with, a Jedi, and he let me hold his lightsaber that said bad motherfucker on it, because that's from a movie. Do I know what movie that is? I don't know, but we're like bestest friends because we work together, and we talk shit about Tom Hiddleston on interview shows. But, yeah, I would totally love to be in Star Wars. Oh, sweet Jesus, I can't do that anymore. But so, yeah, because that certain someone, she who must not be named, Brie Larson, wants to be in Star Wars. A lot of people are saying that because after, people losing their minds wanting her to be Ahsoka, and the announcement that Rosario Dawson got cast as Ahsoka, which is perfect casting in my opinion for the character of Ahsoka, and people are losing their minds that Brie is not going to be Ahsoka. Now, people are putting 2 and 2 together that this character kind of resembles Brie Larson a little bit. You got the typical, standard, generic, blonde hair, whites. It's a white, the Caucasian woman with blonde hair and brown eyes. I wonder who that could be. And also doesn't smile. I wonder. And then we go Avar Kriss. Oh, Avar Kriss. Let me defeminize that by taking the A off the end. Avar Kriss. Kriss, that sounds like Chiss, or just a regular name, but for those of you that do not know, Chiss are an alien species in Star Wars. They're pretty significant. They're kind of badass. It would be kind of awesome to see one as a Jedi, but are we going to? Of course not. They decide to go with the generic blonde white chick. All right, let's read about Avar Kriss. Avar is the brightest, most noble example of Jedihood. Wow, did a 7-year-old write this? Let's continue. She always tries to see the good in people and situations. Wow, it sounds like every single Jedi ever. And never puts herself first. Again, every single Jedi ever. She is invigorated about life and the frontier and challenges it brings, and is inspired from those who work with her. She is compassionate, not dogmatic, and always ready to sacrifice herself over others. They literally just said that a few sentences ago, and never puts herself first, always ready to sacrifice herself over others. They repeated themselves. You have, what, 3 or 4 sentences, and you repeat yourself? Really? Avar Kriss is the best of the best. Okay, so basically, let me summarize this into one sentence. Avar Kriss is adventurous, selfless, and the elite. There you go. I could have worded that better, but one sentence to describe this instead of going and repeating yourself. So this is Mary Sue. They did not put one flaw in there, not one flaw. This is perfect. This is the best of the best. She's adventurous, selfless, and she is the elite. All right, great to know. Mary Sue herself, aka Brie Larson, or Captain Marvel type character, which unfortunately, with the way that Disney has been going, it probably will be. Not looking forward to that, but okay, let's go read about the other ones. And also, this is just the slightest nitpick. I'm going to start, I've already been doing live streams where I redesign characters that I think need that little bit of help. Now, this is not a reflection on the artist, because when you are not given complete creative control of your designs, you have those limitations and you are trying to please somebody else's vision. I feel like the artist here is not at fault for the lack of creativity in the designs. It's like, all right, let's put them in white and make them kind of look like a mix between the Crusader and Monk from Diablo. And let's, instead of giving them the typical tans, let's give them white and golds and some browns. All right, not very creative. Also, when you have a lightsaber here and it's ignited, so there's light reflecting off of it, there would be some green. So I am actually going to redesign these characters and fix the designs of them in a live stream later on this week. So stay tuned for that. Let's take a look at the next character. So this is a Twi'lek. Now I've heard this pronounced Twi'lek and Twi'lek. I've heard Twi'lek more, so that's what I go with. So let's take a look. This is Loden Greatstorm. Now, not a fan of this name either. I think Greatstorm, we have names like Skywalker. I feel like this is not a Twi'lek name, but it's not as bothersome as the other one, because at least this one is like, okay, we got Light, we got Starkiller, we got Skywalker, we got Greatstorm. This one is like, okay, it's just like Kriss. You couldn't have come up with anything interesting. When we have names like Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon Jinn, Count Dooku, like, come on, come up with like a more significant name. But whatever, that's just my opinion. Let's take a look at Loden. Loden is a Twi'lek Jedi Master and considered to be one of the best teachers in the Jedi Order. Strong and wise with a good sense of humor. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's literally Obi-Wan Kenobi to a T. Strong, wise, and a good sense of humor, and one of the best teachers. So this is a Twi'lek version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Good to know. Loden looks at every moment as a learning experience, always trying to better himself and those around him, especially his Padawans. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. You couldn't have gotten something more interesting about like a Twi'lek character. And also, okay, this is completely off the art side of it. When you have a robe like this, there is a reason why they are not all, long like this. He would be tripping over himself in a lightsaber fight. I would not, unless he's floating or something. Maybe he doesn't have legs and he's on like some kind of hoverboard type thing, and that's why it's longer. So he makes himself shorter to be eye to eye with someone. Unless he's elevated, and that, because if it's gonna drag like this, he's gonna be tripping over himself in a lightsaber battle. Some people can use the example, oh, he's flipping and it's twirling and it's up in the air. He's gonna fall. He's gonna trip himself some way, somehow. That's why when you see women that have long trains like that when they're getting married, it looks nice in pictures, but there's always a way to pin it up. This is a very illogical design. I'm not blaming the artist. I'm blaming the creative director, who's ever in charge of the creative. Yeah, it looks great, but this is completely illogical. Especially if he's going to be a master training somebody on how to be fighting with a lightsaber. That's very illogical. That would not work. Now we get to this design. This is Keeve, Trennis. Now, I'm just going to say this right up front. You have the one generic black girl, and you have her in brown. Everyone else, let's go through them. They all get the cool white with gold. Well, I wouldn't say it's cool, but I guess it's cooler. White and gold costume. Everything is all analogous. And then you have the one black girl, and you give her the brown costume. Wow. Way to be fucking racist. And then you give her the ugliest, most generic hair that they have now. It's like the typical SJW go-to haircut. If you're gonna do that where it's like you have like half the head shaved, do something like in Vikings. Remember when Ragnar Lothbrok had the cool he has the weird like mohawk thing, but he's got all these cool braids. He's got the head tattoos or the little designs with his hair. Do something interesting if you're going to have half your head shaved. Make there be a reason for it. No, don't just do it just because, oh, this is the style of like the crazy feminists right now. Make it worthwhile as to why. Do a story behind why half of their head shaved, why their head shaved like that. Make it interesting. If you only, and this is something that Steven Spielberg is very adamant about. If you are going to watch a movie, an animation, like a film, watch it without sound and watch and see if that story is able to be you know, played through without any dialogue or any music or anything to help it as far as sound wise. And one of the things that you have to your advantage is showing, you know, a character chooses to have their hair a certain way, unless, you know, it's very required by your religion that you have your hair a certain way, which was alluded to in, you know, the prequels with the Jedi, and you have the little Padawan haircut. And from the looks of it, you know, she's got the little braid. She doesn't have the little ponytail. And from what I saw, at least with, you know, the human females, they did not have those haircuts. It was only the males that had those haircuts. But tell a story with the way that they choose to dress. Because obviously, the Jedi, they have their robes, but everyone has a different type of, you know, outfit. So tell a story with that. Maybe, you know, she's got, you know, like I said, maybe there's some designs in why her head's shaved like that. Maybe, you know, she doesn't have as good vision in one eye, so that's why she has the head shaved on that side, so that way she can see better. Maybe she's, you know, left-handed as compared to right-handed, and I don't know, maybe she's singed it with her lightsaber so much, so that maybe shows some burns. That's why she has her head shaved, because she keeps catching herself on fire. Just something like that, if you're gonna have a haircut like this. And I mean, the same goes for this. Like, I think it's completely illogical for women when they're fighting to have their hair down. I think that that's absolutely ridiculous. Try doing the lightsaber duels with your hair down. It's not going to work. Have their hair up in some way, shape, or form. You can look at designs like Padme. You can go look how it was a complete work of art designing Padme. I have an entire book somewhere behind me on all of the designs on designing Padme, and they are literal works of art that the artist was given creative control over, and then the costume designer and the makeup artist and, you know, the hair department had to figure out how to translate these works of art and make them realities on screen. I don't understand why they're not doing that, but that's just my opinion on it. And again, the green would be reflecting on her. But do these characters some justice. Don't just throw in the generic black girl and then give her the shitty costume. If you're gonna do it fucking right and make it interesting. Why would you create something generic when you can create something absolutely awesome that no one has ever seen before and blow everyone away? I don't understand that, but that's the logic that they're going. So let's read about Keeve Trennis. Keeve is a young firebrand Jedi, believed to have a great future ahead of her. So Anakin. If only, or Obi-Wan in a sense as well, if only she would believe in herself. Quick-witted and more impulsive than she should be. Keeve is only been a Jedi for a few weeks, or a Jedi Knight for a few weeks, and is a little Star Trek by Avar. Knowing many of the great things Kriss has done in the past, she is determined to prove herself to Avar and the other legendary Jedi stationed in the Starlight Beacon. But first she must learn to trust herself as much as she trusts the Force. Okay, so far, at least she has a flaw. She's insecure. She is, you know, still growing. The artist, and again, this could not be the art, or it might not be the artist, it might be the creative director. They made her look a little too old. She actually, I personally think she looks this age, if not older than this character. And that's something that you need to understand when you are designing, you know, a black character, is they actually age more gracefully than people that have lighter colored skin. It's one of those genetic blessings that they have. You can look at David Bowie's wife, Iman. It's like that woman's in her 60s and she looks amazing. She looks like she's in her 40s. They age very gracefully. She should look a lot younger than this. And the fact that her entire bio, again, you get the white girl gets to be perfect Mary Sue. She's the best of the best. She's the elite. But this girl, you get the one black girl, and she's insecure. She looks up to the white chick. It's like, how, the more woke they get, the more fucking racist they get. You have the one black girl, you give her the shitty costume, everyone else gets to be in whites and gold, she gets to be in white and brown, and yeah, you give her the double-bladed lightsaber, but then you make her insecure and she idolizes a white woman. Wow. And you give her a bio, which is all about another character. Again, the more woke they get, the more racist they fucking get. Let's continue. Okay, so we got the generic white dude. Again, instead of making them all cool aliens and introducing more species, or okay, so we have what, 3 humans so far out of these new characters. You have the most generic white girl you can get. You got a Twi'lek, which is good. Good for you. Shitty costume. Change it. Also, he's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not very creative there. Then you got, the black chick that they are completely disrespecting, and they could have made her completely awesome, but instead they make her idolizing a white woman. All right, and they want to be woke. They want to be woke, but they're losing their woke points right now. And then you got this dude, which looks like Clovis from the Clone Wars. Instead of making him a chiss, instead of making him any other character or any other type of alien species, they go with a generic white dude. All right. And I mean, I'm not one of those people that I don't care what color your skin is. I don't care what fucking species you are. As long as you're an interesting character, that is what I care about. As long as you are a well-written, interesting character, that is all I care about. He could be a fucking purple tiger with a unicorn horn. I wouldn't care, as long as it made sense and as long as he had a good story and he was a well-written character. But this is what Disney decides to do. Out of an entire universe worth of aliens and characters and ethnicities to choose from, they choose two of the most generic ones. All right, this is the people that like to be woke, guys. Stellan Gios. Stellan is an optimistic and well-respected Jedi Master. Stellan, I feel like that just comes with the territory. If you're a Jedi Master, chances are you're well-respected. Stellan came up through the Order with Avar, Kriss, and although they are often on different assignments for the Jedi or the Republic, when the two work together, they are a powerhouse team of two noble heroes in action. Strong in the Force, a natural teacher, Stellan is currently stationed at one of the Jedi Temple outposts on the distant planet of Kargon Vinner. Okay, so what it makes me think of is Avar, Kriss, and him work together, but they're not stationed together too often. I have a feeling they're going to try to do one of those weird love story things, trying to imply that, considering basically okay, so these two, she gets her own backstory, he gets kind of his own backstory, even though it's ripped off from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then these next two characters are all about this chick. They're all about her. Again, Mary freaking Sue of the universe, which is probably going to end up being Brie Larson. And let's look at this last character, which is Gamora 2.0. So, I've been praising, get more aliens, get more aliens. So they literally just took a regular human, gave her green skin and purple hair. I wonder where I've seen that before. Marvel? I wonder. So let's take a look at this. And this is Vernestra Rwoh. Okay. Vern is a newly minted Jedi Knight. Vernestra Murielena was a Padawan to Stellan Gios. She works hard and is devoted to the Jedi Order, more so than most others her age. At 16, she is one of the youngest knights in a generation. She struggles to fit in with adults, but while also setting a good example for the younger Jedi. Alright, so she's a generic, kind of a teacher's pet type of Jedi, which, that there's not as much of a problem. I'm glad that they didn't, have to make her entire backstory about that other Brie Larson type character. But, creativity out of all the things you could have, it's one of those things. The more that you know about Star Wars and the characters that they have already had, why would you go with the most generic one? So that they have a Brie Larson, Mary Sue type Captain Marvel character, which was the first one. Then we have a Twi'lek version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Then we have the token black girl, which is idolizing the token white girl Mary Sue character. All right. And then we have just the dude that is probably going to be written off as a love interest. Then we have Gamora in Star Wars. Except she's probably going to be a nicer type of goody-goody two-shoes type character. Now, I think that they aside from the one, what is her name? Oh my goodness. Keeve. Aside from Keeve, none of these characters have flaws. Maybe her because she's younger and she has to deal with being the youngest one there. But why not give her something like an interesting character trait, kind of like Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Take away her vision. Maybe she's so good and she's younger than everyone else and she's so good at what she does is because she doesn't have sight, so she has to see with the Force. They kind of touched on that in Rogue One. on, why don't they bring that in? And, you know, that actually was something that was implemented in Knights of the Old Republic 2. So I don't know, maybe take away our hearing, give these characters some flaws, because if they don't have anything to overcome, they're not going to be interesting, because that's something when you want, and that's what they said in this article, is that they wanted well-rounded characters that are human-like. Well, first off, if they're aliens, and they're not going to be human-like to begin with. Aliens experience the world and experience emotions and everything basically differently than a human would. So show that. Show something. All these Jedi, they're growing. If you don't have anything to overcome, what are you going to grow from? It doesn't make any sense, but this is just the little tip of the iceberg on what we're going to get to know about these characters. Now, I like to approach these things with I'm hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. And the way Disney runs things, it's very hard to be optimistic about this. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be covering a lot of this High Republic news that's coming out, just because this is something that I would typically be interested in. I am a huge bookworm. I know I don't really talk about that too much here on my channel, but I am. I love reading. I love books. And as much as I've been getting into the EU lately, it just blows my mind how you could have something so great like the Thrawn trilogy, the Thrawn duology, the Darth Plagueis novel, even, you know, the Darth Bane trilogy, even though, you know, some of those books aren't as great. It's just still all of the passion and the knowledge and the cohesiveness that went in to making Star Wars books, and it's just like they've thrown that all out the window, and they don't even understand the source material or the universe that they are talking about. So I'm going to be covering this news a lot and very in-depth here on my channel. So again, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, that's okay too. Thank you so much for watching this far. Please share this on social media. It will help my channel out a lot, since YouTube has decided to ghost my channel. Not very fun. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do make sure that little bell is set to all. That way you get notifications on the other videos and live streams. And until next time, everyone, have a great rest of your day, and may the Force be with you, because we are really gonna need it. Bye, everyone.